Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Eventual Knits podcast. My name is Leah, and I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me on Instagram as miss_LJV. I think this is actually my 33rd episode. I think I accidentally did episode 30 twice, I think, and I just continued on the next time because I looked and saw 30, and so I just did 31 after that. Today is Saturday, November 7th. Yep, 2020. I'm trying my glasses today. So my last episode got a lot of new subscribers. So happy to have you here. Welcome. I am really excited to share my crafting with you all, and I am excited to get to know more people. I love building community. I love having people to discuss fun yarny things with and to learn from, really. If you are a returning viewer, I'm so happy to have you back. Again, love the community. It's been a couple of weeks and an entire year, basically. So I'm going to hop right in because I have a lot of things to talk about today. So I tried really hard to be more organized for this episode just because I have so much to talk about. And then right as I was starting, I realized that I had forgotten several things downstairs. So I've been running up and down the stairs. The first thing I actually want to talk to you about today is what I'm wearing. So I am wearing a t-shirt by a person who runs the shop called Serena tejera, and she is a Latinx woman who does stitch markers and a really cool like bingo, loteria, and additional other things. But I ordered several things from her most recent shop update. Most of those are still on the way, but I am wearing La Vida Lana shirt, and I love it. It's a t-shirt, and it features a crafting of all kinds. A lot of iconic imagery here, the bandana, the gold hoops, tattoos, etc. I love this shirt. I've been wearing it since I got it yesterday. I think I got it yesterday, and my cat has been trying to get a bunch of fur on it, but we do what we can. I strongly encourage you to check out her shop. She does really fun, unique stitch markers, and I will show the cool ones that I got when they arrive next time. Okay, now let's jump right in. I want to talk about my finished object. I only have one, and it is my carved pullover. So I'm not wearing my carved pullover because I wore it on Halloween and it was extremely windy here in the Twin Cities, and we had a fire, and the wind was, no matter where I was, because that's how life works, the wind was blowing all of the smoke in my direction. So this sweater, I've not rewashed it, smells so much like smoke and fire, and I cannot put it on without getting an entire headache. But I finished, and I am so excited about it. It is a fun Halloween sweater. I added, of course, ribbing to the collar, cuff, and hem. This is a pattern by Emily Haver of Real Big Stitch, and it was a really quick knit. I started knitting the 44-inch somewhere in there, like towards the end probably of the chart. I decided that I wanted to knit the 40-inch. I thought that the 44 was going to be too big, and so I just didn't end up doing as many increases, which was fine, but I think the damage, so to speak, was already done because I just knit the collar extremely wide, and it's fine. I love off the shoulder clothing. It looks really cool with my tattoo sleeve and all that kind of stuff. It has raglan shaping. This is backwards. The light is very bright, so I'm not sure. Yes, so it has really cool raglan shaping. This was my first raglan sweater, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoy raglan increases, actually. The yarn that I used was KnitPicks Galileo in Nebula and Titan. Nebula is the purple, Titan is the orange, sort of like a shiny burnt orange. I knit it on US 6 needles, and then the ribbing was knit on US 4 needles. It was a lot of fun. I would absolutely knit it again. When I wore it, I wore a orange tank top underneath it so that you could really see the face on the sweater. It was a lot of fun. It was a quick knit. I shouldn't have put it down for as long as I did because it knit up really fast once I was working on it. First of all, I am a loose knitter, and when I blocked it, it was actually looking really big. Like, what I intended, I think, initially was kind of more of an oversized sweater, but it ended up being a little bit heavier than I thought, and so I started blocking it at like 1 in the morning on Halloween, and so in the morning it was not dry yet, of course, and so I was trying to dry it with a blow dryer, and it was kind of getting dry, but it was still really damp, and so I was like, it'll be fine. It says hand wash only, but it's knitpicks. I'll just put it in the dryer for a few minutes. And so I put it in the dryer while I showered, and honestly, it's fine. Obviously, you can see that it did not felt or anything like that, but it did shrink vertically, so it became kind of a semi-cropped sweater, which again worked just fine for me, but I wonder if when I wash it again if it will regrow or not, so we'll see. I highly recommend you check out this pattern, especially if you want a fun quick Halloween knit. I cannot wait to just wear this. The KnitPicks Galileo is quite soft. I don't remember if I have, I do. Oop. I think it's a wool. It's 50% merino wool, 50% viscose from bamboo. So it doesn't have any acrylic, but it does kind of feel like acrylic. Not in like the sweaty way that acrylic can feel like sometimes, but just where it's like smooth and soft. That's probably the bamboo. So I love wearing it. I can wear it directly on my skin. It's all good. I knit the sleeves to be about 3/4 length, like honestly kind of between 3/4 length and half length. And yeah, it's a really good sweater. This is the carved pullover. And that's all that I have finished. I am working on a lot of projects, and I honestly might not talk about all of them because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 whips right now, and they are all significant whips. So, and actually 9. I did, yeah, 9. So I might not talk. I'm probably not going to talk about all of them. Ooh, I'm drinking my Imperfect Box pumpkin coffee in my sow's ear mug. All right, the first work in progress that I would like to update you on is my Autumn Mist shawl by Lisa K. Ross of Paper Daisy Creations. Of course, like, how do I do this? I mean, really, for real, this is how I do this? All right, let's get the stopper. I got the stoppers on it because last time it was such a beast to handle and I was so worried about losing stitches in the mohair section. All right, so this is where I am at. You can see that there is a decent jump between this garter yarn and this yarn. The next yarn, or the final yarn, is going to be a much brighter pink even still. I don't know where that is. But I am on the second to last yarn in terms of the garter sections. This is a shawl that uses a tonal, well, a solid, and then a mohair or fuzzy yarn, some kind of a lace weight there. Right now, you're not even seeing like the entirety of the shawl. You can see that it is quite still bunched up on this quite long needle. It threw the yarn on my coffee. It right now has over 500 stitches on the needles. So it is a substantial shawl. It's so funny because I remember looking at the sample or the picture that goes with the pattern, and I was thinking like, oh, that's light and quick and that's not very much. And this is definitely the yarn, probably the most stitches I've ever had for a shawl. I could be wrong, but I feel like most shawls I knit are triangular, and you know, the length happens like this and not across. So anyway, this progress keeper shows where I was last time. So it really doesn't look like I've made that much progress. I finished this section and I'm like 2/3 of the way through the garter section, but it is a lot because it's more like 500 plus stitches at this point. So I only work on this during Zoom meetings at work. I don't work on it really any other time. This stitch marker came in a kit from KnitCircus. It is by Lach and Lou. Look at the detail on that. It's such a good stitch marker. I'm almost done. I fully expect to be done with this in the near future, assuming I get time to knit during meetings. The yarn is a Miss Babs yarn kit that was designed specifically for this shawl. And I chose to knit it with the gray at the bottom, and it will end with the pink. I am knitting this on a size 6 4mm needle. Everything that I knit with is basically Chowgu. And yeah, very simple, very simple. So if you want just a soothing project that has garter and stockinette, if you can handle the stockinette where you do have to either purl all the way back or reverse knit all the way back, I find that I just move too slow if I do the reverse knitting or whatever on the way back. So I just purl, it's fine. But I know that can be a big deal breaker for some people, how many purls you need to do. And I have, well, now it's a tangled mess, but I have this much of the color left. The Miss Babs yarn is actually pretty good. It does not really tangle that much. It's pretty slippery, and so like even though it looks like a huge disaster, it will not be that big of a problem. So yeah, that is the Autumn Mist Shawl by Lisa K. Ross. The next project that I want to talk about is a new project. I finally got yarn from my friend. I don't know if I showed it or talked about it on last episode, but my friend Courtney has a birthday in April, and I have multiple times been like, hey, there are lots of yarns I want you to help me pick out and look through, and KnitCircus's website is so fun to look through their colorways. So I said, for your birthday, why don't you pick out a gradient and I will knit you a hat. And so she bought the gradient. It's COVID and it's a lot of things, and so I finally got the yarn just a couple weeks ago. And so I am knitting her the Midwestern gal hat by Jaala Spiro. So she was the previous owner of KnitCircus before Bug bought it, and so it is, I believe, a free pattern that because it is designed for KnitCircus's yarn, and I love using patterns that have been at least tested with KnitCircus's yarn and from KnitCircus themselves, and they promote it to work with their yarns because I know that they care about how their yarns end up looking, and KnitCircus's gradients are always so amazing. So this is the start of the hat. It's a top-down hat. So it starts in the center, and then you do some increases in a spiral, and then it's basically seed stitch, but not exactly. And so I am using the Brass and Steam colorway in their Ringmaster worsted yarn. Ringmaster is 185 yards, and the skeins come with the yellow in the center and the gray on the outside, but I reskeined it because I knew that I was going to want the hat to end in the yellow, so the yellow goes to her face. I think it'll look really cute. Yeah, I'm like picturing it. I think it'll look really cute. It already looks really cute already. The gradient of the gray, it's like shiny and like lustrous. I love it so much. And then it's going to turn into this sort of toffee. I can't think of, there's a word. So if anyone follows Dunder Knits, Caroline, she loves gold, and she considers many shades of brown to also be gold, and I know she would have a name for this, and I bet someone else could also help think of a name for it. So it goes here, and then it gets a little bit more Pooh Bear brown, and then it ends with a more like solid yellow. I also have the needles in one of these needle keepers, needle minders, and I am knitting this on US 7s. And these are, I haven't bought needles like this in so long. These are probably needles I've had since I started knitting with circular needles. Oh my gosh, what is the brand? Knitter's Pride? Yes, Knitter's Pride. Circular needles. And again, that is the Midwestern Gal hat by Jaala Spiro. For my next project, I started a new pair of socks. So I was an election judge, a poll worker in my precinct this year for the election, and that means that there was the opportunity for some downtime. To be clear, we had pretty much a steady flow of people, but my precinct only has like 2,000 people in it, and about half of them voted early or did absentee voting. We did register during my time there. We did register about 100 additional people, and I love that Minnesota does same-day registration. I think every state should obviously have that, and it was a lot of fun. I would absolutely do it again. I think that it was a really interesting and fun opportunity, and I think that if you are interested in learning more about the voting process and how our country works with elections, you should definitely try to become an election judge for any number of events. It doesn't have to be the presidential election. And so anyway, there was a piece in the training that said, you know, you might have some downtime. It didn't say you couldn't bring anything to do. And actually, I'm pretty sure there was some documentation somewhere that said that you could have something to do. So like it discouraged phone use if you could help it, which makes sense. Phones make people nervous or makes it look like you are disengaged. And one of my fellow coworkers said that they had discouraged crafts, and I 100% disagree. I don't think that is true because I listen very closely for those kinds of things. I pay very close attention to see if there's anything I can get away with when it comes to crafts. And actually, the only time I've ever encountered a real problem was when I went to see Obama speak in 2007 in North Dakota, and they confiscated my needles. They took them away, even though it was in a huge arena and I was way up so far back. They said that they were weapons and they took my project. Good thing I had just started knitting at that time and didn't have a significant project on the needles. I was very upset about it. I also was able to sneak my projects in every single day when I was at Disney World. You just have to be creative in making sure that your needles don't look like weapons. In light of that, I started a pair of socks for myself. I started them toe up so that I wouldn't have to deal with any sort of heel flap or heel turn or gusset at all during my time there. It was really optimistic of me to think that I had enough time for that. But I started just a ribbed sock. So the bottom is just straight stockinette, and the front is a 3x1 ribbing. I am working with 56 stitches because my feet are pretty small. And I am using the yarn called Hyrule's Princess, which of course is another way of saying Princess Zelda. And it is by Peach Queen Yarns. I actually have Hyrule's Princess, and then I also have Hyrule's Hero, which is of course Link, and it's the greens and golds. And I'm going to knit one sock out of each, and then they will be a matched pair, in my opinion. And then I'm going to do the same for Steve. Of course, Steve's feet are like twice as big or more than my feet, so they will take much longer. I am really liking this sock so far. It's very subtle. It's just like a gentle pair of socks. It's gentle yarn. This is the first time I've bought from Peach Queen Yarns. And I am knitting this on a 9-inch Chow Goose circular needle, size 1. Because if I can get away with circular needles, I'll do it. To cast on the toe, I used my DPNs, using Judy's Magic Cast On. So yeah, this is a new whip I have that I will just work on in downtime. The next thing that I want to show you that I am working on is actually Tunisian crochet, and it is 1.5 squares of a Tunisian crochet sampler, holiday sampler by Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts. So the first one that I want to show you is the little spiral square. I don't remember what this one was specifically called, and she didn't have a sample video at the time, and you probably can knit them in any order you want, but I was like, I'll try it, I'll figure it out. And so I watched one of...
Hello.
Hey, baby.
How's that podcast going?
Good. I started it later than whatever because people were texting me a bunch.
So am I interrupting you right in the flow?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Hi, podcast people.
I don't know where I was. So I am working on the Tunisian Holiday Sampler by Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts, and I did the first square with this spiral Tunisian crochet motif. I crocheted this while I was watching Steve play a very scary game called Amnesia. It was the sequel, not the original. And it was interesting and also really cool. I just really liked getting to crochet this. And I remember in the last video I said something like, I don't know how to read crochet at all. But of course, once I said that, I was like, I should probably also though look and learn and see what I can do. So I've got a little better. I did need to, I did the outside twice because I didn't really understand what I was trying to make at first, and so I messed up and I ended up, like, I got all the way around and then it didn't line up. There was like a huge gap. I didn't have enough stitches, or they didn't flow in the same pattern, and so by the time I got to that point I knew what I was supposed to do, so I just undid it and then redid it. And so this is about 12 by 12. I think you're supposed to be going for like squares or rectangles. This said it should be 12 by 12, and that is basically what it is. So yay! I didn't expect that at all. I also didn't expect it to look even, really. So this was the circle one. The next one that I started is a Tunisian simple stitch with 2 colors. And so this is as far as I've gotten. on that. Oh my gosh, I just realized I have to show you something. So I remember when I showed you my little sample and how I wasn't doing the edge correctly. So the one edging will always look like this. It's very nice and clear and pretty. All right, guys. Oh my god. I don't even want to show. It's so embarrassing. My other side looks like this, and I was clearly doing something wrong. The thing, oh, I was gonna say the bottom kind of looks all right, but it's not really. So I don't know what I was doing or what part I was going in, but I also crochet in the dark. And again, I was watching Steve play games, so I wasn't paying as much attention. And finally I stopped and I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm going to be stitching these together. So hopefully I can sort of fix that horrible mangled edging when I do. But also I should learn how to actually fix it. So I did learn how to fix it. I've only done it on 3 rows, but look at how much better that looks than this. What is going on here? I'm not gonna undo any of that, it's fine. I am a very beginner crocheter and Tunisian crocheter, so that is fine. I'm really liking these colors together. They're like a fun mustard ketchup going on here. And the yarn that I'm using for this is the Premier Yarns Everyday Anti-Pilling Everyday Bobbin. So I'm using, right now, I'm using the red and this yellow gold. And then for the circle spiral, I did this one and the sort of marled and this one. So my plan is to just kind of use these until, like, I don't know, I think she has you pick out 4 colors or something. Because I have the bobbins, I'm just sort of gonna do whatever I want to try it out. I know one of the sample panels has a tree on it. Like, she obviously picks out colors to have a color balance. But even though it's probably gonna say a color that doesn't work out as green, I'm gonna of course do the tree in a green. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really excited to learn how to do a bunch of different crochet stitches. I recently watched her do a puff stitch tutorial, and I don't know if the Tunisian crochet has any sort of puff stitch in it, but she showed how to do puff stitch and it looked so cute and so cool and so easy, and I am really excited to do more. I haven't done a lot of crocheting over the last week and a half because I started getting that carpal tunnel feeling when I was crocheting. However, I'm like holding the crochet hook and twisting my wrist. It was putting a lot of pressure right here on my hand, and so actually knitting was better for me this time. Last time knitting was hurting my hand, and now it's just like I'm just gonna keep alternating, whichever hurts my hand or doesn't hurt my hand. So that is the Tunisian Crochet Holiday Sampler by Toni Lipsey. Speaking of Toni Lipsey, I am also working on an Afghan for my brother and his fiance for their baby that is going to be coming in the next few months. It is called the Daphne Afghan, and I have gotten 3 panels done. So I have just one more panel to go, and then I will get to seam this together. The seaming will be done by putting all of the cream edges together. So they will connect in the center, and then we'll get this one at the top, and then we'll add the other one, and it will make a rectangle. So I am really excited. I'm so close. It goes around using the double crochets. You do 3 double crochets, and it is a lot of fun. I am crocheting it using the Premier Sweet Roll Sprinkles. It's 245 yards and 5 ounces. It is a worsted weight yarn, and I am crocheting those using an eye hook, I think. And then the cream, I didn't have this last time, is Premier Eversoft, not to be confused with Caron Simply Soft. It's not the same at all. I'm excited to hopefully next time show you a completed blanket. I forgot to mention the Tunisian crochet is being done on a K-hook. And you can see that like I said last time, that I did buy Tunisian crochet hooks. And so I bought the, I think Denise, maybe? I don't know. If someone recognizes them, put them in. I have them downstairs. So I really like them so far. It's been a lot of fun doing the crochet. The last project I want to talk to you about is a test knit. You guys, I can't keep away from test knits, especially ones that I know will go fast, and especially for people I have test knit before and are so fun to test knit with. I am doing this test knit for Stephanie Lotven of Telly B Knits, and it is a cowl. I believe that this cowl does not require me to keep it a secret. I think we can post pictures of it, so I'm going to also share it on my podcast. This is called the Glide Cowl, and it is knit on size... Oh, of course, this is not one of my Chow Goos. It is, I think, an Addy. It's 3.75 mil needles, but it is a cowl, and she has a pretty signature style of cowl. It starts with a neck, you knit it flat, and it starts with a neck, and it goes to like here, and then you connect it, you join it in the back, and then you knit it, and it sort of looks like that. I am just at the part where I'm going to join, and this is what I've got so far. So it's going to end up joining, and then so this will be the, it'll go like this, and it'll be all bunchy. I am so excited. I love these two colors together. They are looking very Christmassy and putting me so much in the Christmas spirit. The yarns, the green is a Anzula Lunaris in the colorway Ain't Easy Being Green, and the red is Brazen Stitchery Fires of Mordor. So it is it does take 2 fingering weights. You can do any fingering weight you want. This has a really good opportunity. Her cowls have really good opportunities for gradients and other variegated yarns. The red is actually a red tonal, and it has oranges or like lighter colors within. I'm trying to find one of the orange sections here. So it's not just a pure red. It does have little orange sections, and you can see it also has a few darker sections, and I believe that was purposeful. But largely it does look red, and it is a great contrast to the super bright lime green. I suppose I can actually show you the yarns themselves, so you can see much more obviously that it is a very tonal, super crazy deep red plus some oranges. And then the Anzula is a sparkle yarn that is also a tonal. I'm so happy to find a use for both of these yarns. I was very excited. I actually bought 2 skeins of this because I wasn't sure if I'd want to use them in a longer shawl or a sweater, but I'm very happy with what I am using this for. I don't think I'll use all of either ball. So yeah, if you are liking the way this looks, you should keep an eye out for it, because the test knit ends quite quickly, and I assume will be released before Christmas. Stephanie also released several cowls recently in a bundle, but you can also buy them separately. All right, that is it for everything that I want to talk about that I'm working on. There are a couple other projects, but don't worry, I'll talk about them next time. I do want to show you a couple of yarns that I have acquired recently. The first one is a yarn from a new to me dyer called Kraeo, Kraeo, and I discovered them at Indie Untangled. They did a colorway for Indie Untangled called Oktoberfest, and it's Twisted Sister Fingering, 85% superwash merino, 15% mulberry silk, 490 yards. And it is such a fall color. such a fall color. I bought 2 skeins because then that way I have almost 1,000 yards, so I can definitely use it in a garment if I want. I'm very much enjoying these colors. Very lustrous and rich. That silk is really making it pop. So yeah, I definitely will buy more from them. I started following them on Instagram and I will keep an eye out for their yarns. And then the second yarn that I would like to show you is from True North Creative. And it is a fingering weight, 100% extra fine superwash merino, 100 grams, 435 yards. And this is highlighter pink. It's probably blowing out. It's doing all right, I think. It is an extremely bright pink and I am here for it. I also, of course, bought 2 skeins of that because it is then almost 900 yards. I could easily use this as a contrast in a garment. I urge you to check out both of these indie dyers. True North Creative is indigenous and a great company. All right, that is it. I'm trying to keep this a little bit shorter this week. I did want to, though, tell you about a giveaway that I am starting. I believe I'm going to have the giveaway on Instagram. If you are not on Instagram, you can send me a message and we can try to figure something out. But in trying to figure out the best way to handle it, it seems like Instagram's the best place to host it. So the giveaway is a thank you for everyone for being breaking 200 subscribers. I am so happy that people are here, and so I want to sort of give back to everyone as a thank you. So I have partnered up with, I don't know who will be surprised here, but I have partnered with KnitCircus Yarns to give away a skein of Rainbow Road. So this skein is their breathtaking BFL yarn. It is 100% superwash Blueface Leicester wool, 410 yards, 3.5 ounces, or 100 grams. So this retails for $43. And it is such a fun yarn. So I showed a couple podcasts ago working on some socks for Steve in this yarn to sort of showcase what it looks like. And I mean, 435 yards is great in a shawl. I have a skein of it right over there. My plan for it would be to either somehow try to put it as a contrast color in a sweater, or easily I could see myself using like a black or a white for a shawl. So even a cowl would look really good with this yarn. And KnitCircus has such a good unique dye process that adds these additional flecks. And so keep an eye, please go to my Instagram, miss_LJV, and keep an eye out to participate because I will be drawing winners sometime soon. Keep an eye out for that. I'm so excited for you guys. All right, I think that is pretty much it. I haven't really been up to a lot this week. My election poll judge hours were super early, and we had daylight savings time and last weekend, and so my schedule has been all over the place. I have mostly just been knitting or crocheting and watching video games, and it has been a great time. I have also been watching a lot of Twitch, which is the same thing. And of course, YouTube channels. I am so glad that Dundernit Caroline is back, that she released a new podcast. I've also discovered a few new podcasts. I really enjoy watching Kalisha of Quirky Monday Craftcast as well. And Christy Glass Knits just released a really interesting interview with Shrugs for Hugs, I think is what it's called, and it is a very interesting charity. And so if you are interested in charity knitting and doing something super unique, I think, for parents of children with cancer or other issues that require hospital attention, you should really check out Shrugs for Hugs or Christy Glass's video on that. I think that's about it. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you are able to stay well, and if you live in the Midwest, it's unseasonably warm. Get outside, get some of that sun. Remember that Black Lives Matter, Indigenous Lives Matter. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope to talk to you soon. Don't forget that there's a lot of work to do. We need to stay engaged, stay involved, and donate your money when you can, donate your time when you can, participate, be engaged. We all do better when we all do better. Can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.
It was a nightmare. Everything's awful. It was the opposite of Leah, but we have things now. I love you so much. I've never been more in love with anyone, and I'm gonna go downstairs, do the podcast. You're cute as fuck. Love you.
Bye, babe. I love you.
Love you. Love you.
Love you.